Hello and welcome. Oh, my name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
And you're sitting at the Couples Table.
Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on this channel. Join us for better or worse.
For richer or poorer.
In sickness and health.
As long as we both shall stream. Yes.
Yes. Welcome to episode 94.
Wow.
First of all, how's our audio?
We're 90s kids.
I know. How is the audio? Let's say hi to everyone as we're checking the audio. Monica has a meeting,
over here
but we'll catch a replay. Rambling vlogger is here. Gil, Simply Obs, what's up? Jared Spank in the house. Mr. Camera Junkie, Mark Cockrum. Good evening from Ye Old England. Curiosity Network podcast. Hello
test
from the
out
other
my
side. Go ahead.
Oh, we have our delay. I think it's okay.
Oh, great.
I think it's good.
Homesick Mac is in the house. Spiral Lab, change the logo, looks good. Matt from Music City, USA. Miro Davis is here. What's up? Young Joey, what's up? I don't think I missed anyone. Rio Pell Room, hello. Action Crypto in the house. Ken Arnold. Good evening from Norway. Norway. Dash with Ash. Hello, lovely. Good to see you. Maryland. Good evening. I love how you guys all shout out where you're from. Isn't that cool?
Thank you, Jared, for the text.
Business growth ready. Good to see you. Dennis, what's up? Audio sounds great. Loud and clear.
Cool. We had some
Creator
issues
Hub.
earlier.
Call Me Cubby's in the house. Wow, it's great. Sebastian, hi. Audio is great. Todd, good to see you. No cap today. You know why? Because look, I got fresh hair and I'm cutting my hair tomorrow and I'm so excited to cut my hair because I don't think I cut my hair in 2 years.
Yeah, since our wedding basically, right?
Yeah, right before. So we're gonna go
Just gonna shave it all off.
We're gonna go to the shoulder situation. And I was like, okay, I think because it's gonna be a big haircut, I'm gonna do a no cap today.
Okay.
I thought about this.
It looks great. I don't know why the two are connected, but it looks great.
Because I've been thinking about my hair so much. I know this is not the topic today, but workflow, okay?
Welcome to Hair Talk.
My cap is part of my workflow. And up here, look at this. My hair is back to black, which is my natural hair color. Down here, it's, I don't think my hair looks purple, even though if you were to look at it in person, it does look purple, but everything in here is purple, so there's not enough contrast. I don't know. So I've been okay, do I bleach my hair again? And I was thinking about going back to blonde. I was blonde at one point. Tom doesn't care, but
yeah.
Anyway, I don't have hair to cut.
But don't.
All right, so thanks for joining us. We are excited to see all of you, and today we are going to be talking about YouTube workflows. So I came up with this idea and I thought it would be a really good discussion because the reason why I thought about it was because I think I was thinking about lenses. I think because you came out with a video, the anamorphic lens. This is not
what I was expecting you to be thinking about.
You came out with your video about anamorphic lenses, and let me tell you, I will never use an anamorphic. I won't even use a lens, period, though I'm using this one. But I don't know what it is. I don't want to know what it is.
It's a Canon 35mm f2.
Sure. So
no, that's a sure.
The thing with workflows is that the thing that makes it the best or the worst depends on you. So I thought if there is a workflow, because a lot of us here are YouTube creators, content creators, if there is a workflow thing as part of your content creation production process that really either leveled things up or totally you tried and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it because I know that there are things that you guys know that I haven't tried and vice versa. So I think it'll be really interesting for, it's like a huddle up, right? Hey, what do you do? How do you do this? Let's talk about that.
I know Gil has a new workflow thing happening right now with podcast. So I saw you mentioning that this morning.
Yeah.
If you don't mention it, I will. But yeah, because you and I discovered a cool workflow thing. Well, it's something that we knew, but we didn't really realize it until this week, and we discovered it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is why
our dryer is singing now.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the laundry is done. Okay, so here's what happened. I think for the past like 1 or 2 months on the couples table, I've alluded and talked about like, okay, you guys, version 2.0, Heather Ramirez on the youtube.com/Heather Ramirez channel. I'm gonna step things up. I have my creator creed. I've got my new vision. I'm gonna model everything after Tom. I uploaded my video last week and it was like so much fun, and I had my personality, and it was definitely like, you know, I got such good feedback and you could tell and all this stuff. And then today is Thursday. I didn't have a video. I tried to make a video, but here's what I realized, and this is part of the workflow for me, is that no matter how willing and excited I am to make a video, I can't make a video during PMDD, which is a 2-week period of the month. So like basically every 2 weeks, for 2 weeks, I can't make a video. I tried to make a video. I put together an outline that I'm actually really excited about, which Tom will talk about that workflow thing.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning.
So I worked on this outline. I was so proud of it. And I know that when I come up with an outline and I can envision it, that's what I'm like, oh, this is going to be a really good video. So I tried to make that video, and it just was not like, it took me way too long to say one line, and like I edited the talking part and I looked at it, and it's kind of like, those of you who have spouses, like I know you guys get when I say, if you like, you can kind of sense a vibe when something is off, right? So Tom can sense if I'm feeling off, even if I don't know, because there's something about my face or just something about the way I'm carrying myself
your face, it's off.
That like, okay, something's bothering you. That's what I felt when I was editing my own footage. Like I looked at me and it just looked forced. It didn't look like the way that I looked in that video I uploaded last week. And like the video I uploaded last week, I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
And this time I was like dragging my feet. So finally, I know I've talked about this a lot, but I finally was like, look, I can outline, I can edit, but I cannot get on recorded camera, because obviously like I'm here for this live, but I just can't do the recorded. It's like just ineffective. So I have to plan around that. So what I'm doing instead is I'm going to be outlining like 4 videos so that when I'm back to normal, I can just crunch those out and hopefully be at Tom's level where he has 5 videos in the freaking hopper at this point.
4 today.
4 as of today, because the 5th one went out this morning. Yeah, so that's like, so I'm not like, I had to struggle with this because I felt guilty. Like, okay, this was supposed to be my streak and I broke it after the first week. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But look, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's fine. And this is kind of like this is a workflow thing that I need to recognize for myself.
Well, we talked about it for a while, because we were talking about the difference between keeping the streak is a good personal goal.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're like, I set this goal to do a streak, I'm going to do that. But making the best video possible is really what's going to help the channel the most. And right now your main focus is helping the channel the most. So what would be best for the channel is to have the best possible video made.
Right.
And if you couldn't make the best possible video for today, it's actually better for the channel not to have it, rather than like a lackluster video that's...
But it's like, it's so hard to tell because...
Oh, yeah, no, it's easier said than done.
I was doing it, and I was saying to myself, like, can't I just do this? Like, the lines are written. They're right in front of me. Why is this so hard? And then, I eventually got all the talking parts done, but even when I was editing it, I was like, I delivered the line, but it's just not there. You could tell that I'm focusing on like reading the teleprompter in my head. And I was like, I want to make this video where I'm not feeling like, oh my God, I have to make this video. And instead feeling like, oh my God, I can't wait to make this video. And I know that's possible because I did it with a video last week.
Yeah.
So I'm telling myself this as,
yeah.
I'm talking to myself as I'm saying this. Anyway, we've got comments.
We've got comments, including there's one that I want to focus on first. We have a super chat from Gil, and also it's Gil's birthday today.
Oh,
so
happy
thank you
birthday.
for a gift to us on your birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
And smell like one, two. I'm just kidding. Yeah, hope you have a great birthday and celebrate.
Yes.
Yeah, don't look a day over 21. 29. We're talking with Heather's brother yesterday, and he's just going to continue to turn 29 every year forever.
I know. Let's see.
I saw Matt said you're producing 3 shows a week, and one is a trip to another state. And I was wondering, does that mean you have to travel to another state once a week, every week? That's a lot.
Wow, yeah.
You should fly there.
Huddle up. What a great idea. You should have a YouTube huddle up thing. Yeah. Let's see. Dash. My flow is when I want to. As long as I get to 2 videos a week, I'm happy because I make those videos to help keep my mind steady.
2 videos a week is a lot, too.
Workflow, batch film. Yes. That's what I want to get on that
Yeah,
level.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. 100% truth, Heather. Your partner could just tell when something's up. Yes. And I feel like it's just so hard because I don't know if this is the ADHD in me or whatever, but like guilt is something that I struggle with, you know, like being really hard on myself. But
we are both raised Catholic, so
I'm doing everything wrong. Young Joy, I've been a content creator for 2 months now in podcasting. I've adapted scheduling episodes and I haven't missed an episode. I post twice a week.
Scheduling.
See, there you go. Like, let's revisit this in 2 weeks. And hopefully my report will be like, guys, I've got 3 videos in the hopper and I just can't wait for that moment.
Yeah, because that's what we're talking about is on your on weeks, recording as much as you can because you can edit in your off weeks,
yeah.
no problem. And then
I can't perform is what it is. Like, I can't
Yeah, the hard thing though with the scheduling thing, because obviously that's like my number one trick is having stuff scheduled, but the hardest part is getting the initial batch of videos to schedule, because in order to do that you have to make more. Like you know, you can't just schedule one, you have to make 2 or 3 and like schedule them out, and that's hard because you're working 2 or 3 times as much to get that done. But if you can manage to do that between now and a month from now, then that means when you're KO'd again, it's not going to matter because there's going to be a really good video that's just ready to go and you don't have to worry about it. And like, I think that getting to that point is a very, very good goal to have.
It's
hard though. It takes a lot of extra effort to get
hard.
there. Yeah.
Spiral Lab, I totally get that, Heather. I'm so glad you didn't push through. You've learned something important that will serve you in the future way more than a video today.
Yeah. And I think though, early in your creator journey, the pushing through part is also important. Like proving to yourself that you can keep going, you can keep making videos, even if the video isn't going to be the best one or help the most for the channel. That is an important thing to learn that you can do. But later on down the line, it's important to know when not to do that too.
Aubrey says, I totally have the same problem. I've been getting down on myself a ton. If you ain't feeling it, the viewers definitely ain't feeling it.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, and they have to.
Especially like my creator creed really helped because I read it and I was like, I don't feel this. Like I get it, but like I'm
glad you have that.
It's not translating. I could tell like this what I'm watching is not the same as the person who wrote this. Period. So
yeah.
This is different than perfectionism. There you go. That's actually a really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's where the guilt comes in. Is like, I don't know, pushing through. There's something there.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says, banking content is such a big thing for me on Podcaster. In order for me to cope with the workload, I will bank a whole bunch of episodes, which takes the pressure off.
Yep.
Let's see. Don't panic. My mother told me that. No worries. You're almost 40. Kathy in the house. Happy Thursday. Hot tub lady. Yellow, everyone. How are you, peeps?
Thank you for your help earlier, Jackie.
Not flyable. 4 hours by car, but the flight would be 5 to 6 because it's in the boondocks, Alabama. But I'm getting my pilot
license. That's what I mean. When you can fly, and you just go for it.
Andrew, batching for the win. Podcasts are easier. Batch 3 last week. Downside of live streaming, you can't do this. However, I've been repurposing my live content into micro content.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Okay, so why don't you talk about the thing that was kind of related to what I talked about?
Yeah, well, there's sort of... So I'm going to transition in a couple ways. So the first thing, people mentioned batch stuff. I've had the workflow. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were mentioning things we learned from Peter.
Yeah.
But the workflow for me has pretty much always typically been working on one video at a time. That's just how my brain works. And lately, like since Peter was here and I was watching him keep track of 6 videos at once in his head, I've been trying to sort of be a little more aware of, hey, this situation I could be making, you know, maybe I can be doing things for more than one video at a time, but I don't want to overload it because that just doesn't work for me. And a thing that happened this past weekend was I had spent a few days outlining a video, which that's what I want to talk about next is outlining. But I spent a few days outlining a video, days outlining a video. It was ready to go, and then I had everything set up. I literally, the night before I was going to record, I spent an hour making sure everything was set up because there's 3 cameras, top-down shot, like the whole thing. Everything's set up, ready to go. So the next day, all I had to do was like refresh myself on the outline and sit down and hit record. And I did that. And because I did that, the raw footage was only like 21 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, sometimes I've had 3.5 hours of raw footage for videos from 3 cameras before. So 21 minutes, I was like, wow, do I even need to edit this? The answer was yes, I do. But it's way easier to edit a 21-minute video. And it went so fast and I spent so much time setting up. I was like, okay, I have a setup right now that's multiple cameras and a top-down shot. It was a Rodecaster-related video. And I was like, I should make the use of having this setup. But I didn't have another video outlined. But I had an idea of like, there's a video I want to do. Maybe I could just wing it. And so I winged it again for another 20 minutes and then ended up with a second video. And by the end of the one day, that was on Sunday, I had not only recorded the 2 videos, but I had actually edited and uploaded both of them and made thumbnails for both of them. I don't think I've ever fully finished 2 videos in a single day. And the funny part is, I think if anyone were to watch the videos side by side, you wouldn't be able to tell which one was the outline one and which one wasn't. Like, which feels really good in terms of the ability to like wing it.
That's the experience, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the experience, but it's also like I spent days outlining this, and the one I just like made up.
You were able to
just
do
as
that,
good.
right? And he was doing this at the same time I was attempting to record my video. He came out of his studio with 2 videos done. I came out of my studio and I was like,
-1.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And I felt so bad.
I know. I was so excited. I wanted to tell you, but I was like,
doesn't-
I also don't want to tell you because I don't want you to like
I know.
be hard. I know you're.
I want to be happy for you, but I definitely felt like defeated.
I
came
know.
out just like, you know, you came out victorious. I felt real sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like batch recording is a thing that I've had a hard time doing. The reason I was excited about this one is in the past when I've tried to batch record, they obviously have to be kind of basic videos, usually screen recordings or talking head videos, because by nature they're going to be kind of similar. And my problem is they have in my brain merged into one video where it's like tonally they kind of feel the same. Even the thumbnails end up looking the same. And I just feel like neither one shines as much as I would want it to if it was just like the one video I worked on. And what I was really happy about on Sunday was both videos feel like they have their own clear purpose, their own clear identity. Even the thumbnails are entirely different for both of them. So it really feels like 2 completely separate things. And that made me really happy. Nothing feels phoned in or like halfway done.
Right.
Or anything.
No, I mean, you worked the whole day and then the next day.
Right.
Because you had 2
Well, I had to
videos.
caption. I had to end up captioning 3 videos the next day, and captioning takes a long time. But but that was cool because batch recording is something that I can't always do, and it was really cool to dabble in that. But it all started because I did have the original video outlined really well.
Yeah.
And you and I were spending the last week working on outlines, and we discovered something about outlines, which we will talk about as soon as we check in with comments.
There's only one thing I say: tech for your needs. Just don't let this moment be longer than they need to be, because then the days will turn to weeks and months and so forward. Totally true. This is another thing. So it is, you know, about finding that, like, am I pushing this off or am I really taking the time because things actually need to marinate and that will make things better? And I have been doing this long enough to know that to know that this is the way to do it. Time will tell if I have my videos actually done, but I feel like that's the final piece left. But I do think that, you know, if I were starting from scratch and didn't have the data to kind of prove this, like, yeah, go make the videos, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to really, it requires so much like
It's all self-awareness, yeah.
which is very hard.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew says, thanks for giving me gas, Tom. I got to get me an RCP2. Love your video. Thank you very much. Only get it if it's actually going to suit your workflow, though. Make sure you actually need it. And I saw earlier Mac was saying he was sitting back. Mac was sitting back, learning the Rodecaster and feeling it wasn't as intuitive as he thought it would be. But what I will say is I felt the same way about the Mixcast. When I had been using the Rodecaster and I got the Mixcast to review, I was like, wow, this makes no sense to me. So it's just that learning curve of something different. But obviously, like, you were a pro with the Mixcast, and now you'll be a pro with the Rodecaster. So it just takes time. And yeah. Anyway.
Mine are talk shows, and I so good at switching. We record via ATEM Extreme. The edit only takes 2 to 3 hours. Andrew, captioning is one of the biggest reasons I've stuck with Premiere. Captioning is built in, has saved me tons of time in editing.
I've heard Premiere has good captioning. I know Final Cut has some kind of captioning, but I don't know like how to just put out like the SRT file. So I was using Rev because they do it for you, but at least I always need to double check it because some things are just very specific. And so it actually takes a lot of time to double check it. And because it's not instant, you have to wait. In my case, it was usually 15 to 20 hours before the file came back. It's really frustrating to finish a video, upload it, and now I'll wait another 20 hours before I can get the caption file. So I've been using Descript, which is basically instant, but also like wildly inaccurate. And so then I have to go through even more than I did with Rev to correct it. But that's okay because I like putting extras into the captions, but it just takes so much time.
Hi, Dr. Seb.
Oh, wow.
It's been such a long time. I feel like I'm a YouTube newbie. It's good to see you. Good to hear from you. Okay, we have 2 questions.
Okay.
First, from Andrew. What has been your favorite tool for managing your workflow?
What's yours?
Probably Notion. The thing that I've been using lately is the Notes app for
That's mine.
Mac. But like, I think I've been using the Notes app now because I discovered folders. And so I just click on folders and then all of my video ideas are it's like 1 note per video idea. And I just have a template and it makes it really easy. I use Notion a lot for, what is it called? Archiving. So I have like every single video I've ever created, every Couples Table episode, the corresponding URL, like all of that is in Notion.
I do not have anything like that.
I used to have the production process in there, but something was telling me that I need to simplify a little bit.
Simplify.
So now I'm just using the Notes app with like, there's only one thing.
The Notes app is my absolute favorite because it is so simple. It has the really easy checklist feature, and especially if you're on your phone, the checklist is just a tap to check.
What does everyone else use? Your favorite tool for managing your workflow?
But that's the beauty of the Notes app is, which I know other things do. I think Google Docs or Notion or whatever, but like whether it's computer, phone, or iPad, whatever device I'm on,
accessible anywhere.
I can just open up the document and add a thought to it. So even if it's like, I'm getting ready for bed at night, I'm like, oh, this would be a great way to start that video. Instead of hoping I'll remember or writing it down, I just quickly toss into the document like.
Yeah, I think that was the reason why I didn't intuitively go to Notion first, is because like I have to open the app first, even though you have to open the Notes app. I don't know, it just wasn't like as easy.
The Notes app is also just so basic and simple. Like Notion, you can obviously create.
You can make it basic.
Really, it can be basic, but the Notes app by default is just there's nothing there.
It's
just
notes.
A Notes app.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Cool. So Young Joey says, in a workflow of batch recording, how do you keep the creativity unique with each video, and will creativity suffer in quantity over quality? So as someone who's been you haven't been batch recording,
No, that was what I was talking about. That's why I've tended to avoid it, is because, batch recording as in like the studio is set up and I'm going to sit here and talk about a topic and now sit here and talk about another topic. It is really hard to differentiate. And for some reason,
I don't do that. Yeah. I tried it and
for some reason last weekend, I think because one video was already really outlined, and maybe if I had a second that was really outlined, it would have been okay. But they were, because I guess one was outlined, one was improv, it felt very different. it's really hard, which is why I tend not to do it in the studio setting. But when we're working with Peter and we're out in different locations and working on different videos at once, it was a lot easier because everything, like, you know, like we're in Joshua Tree and it's literally like, okay, we'll go on this rock and film this part, and that'll be a really cool thing for this video, and now we'll go stand by this Joshua Tree and film this part, and that'll be a really cool shot in this other video.
Like your videos also were totally different, so it's like I feel like it's easier to differentiate.
Yeah, that was going like, okay, this is a video about anamorphic lenses, this is a video about a gimbal, like they're not the same topic at all.
If I were doing, well, actually, I take that back. I remember recording 2 Canva tutorials back to back because I was like, I have everything set up and open.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just, like, if I'm thinking about my workflow, I prefer doing one video at a time. Mm-hmm. So if that means I record 2 videos in a day, that's fine. But I would want to get at least the first pass edit of the first one before working on the second one. Yeah. Just because, like, I can only work on one thing at a time. But we'll see what everyone else has to say about that. Let's see. Where are we? Hey, friends. Also, Dan.
Oh, Dan. Wherever you're at, I hope you are okay.
Yeah, so best get well soon to Sam. But also, I don't think I've told you congrats on the whole career change.
Yeah,
friend.
You've had a very busy month.
Yeah. What is this? Can't see.
Oh, wow, look at Patrick. He said Premiere's captioning is incredible. It will process the text within a few minutes so you can edit in real time.
Oh, wow.
That is very cool. I like that.
I use Descript, Mr. Camera Junkie.
Yeah, Descript is good, and I know it learns with you. And Descript is the AI engine that Descript uses is the one that Rev uses initially, and then like a human fixes it. But I just hated the time that it was adding on.
Yeah. I bought a physical calendar and I write my shoots or anything on there. It's been more helpful than anything.
Man, when I was teaching, I had the big, like, we have this desk mat here. I had the big, like, physical calendar on my desk all the time. I love crossing stuff out, drawing an arrow.
You teacher.
Ugh.
You have like a physical calendar.
No,
like, what the heck?
No digital calendar has
in?
ever come close to the big old table desktop calendar.
Notes for me also. Craft has been my favorite lately. Ooh. Craft. Is this an app? Tell me more.
Macaroni
Notes is good.
and cheese.
Instantaneous. Google Keep. Google Keep. Amina, hi. I was using Notion. Now I'm trying to use Obsidian.
Ooh.
Why does that sound familiar?
Sounds cool. I don't know. It just sounds cool.
I use a creator planner that Tom and Heather sent me. Yay.
Hey, that's also a good one. The Ecamm creator planner.
Yeah, it's a physical planner.
Yeah.
My app is Notion 300%. Maybe that's why I don't produce any recorded videos. Let's see. I use Notion and Google Keep. I'm still learning Notion. Google Keep keeps all my notes. What is Google Keep? I need to look into this. Is this... Well, Notes works for me, but Google Keep.
Yeah.
Is it like a Notes?
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
We write a text script via shared pages template. The shoot is its simple note checklist, and then I get track of all the links.
Okay, and that's for a team situation too.
Yes.
If we're talking about working by ourselves,
yeah, solo.
So definitely different if you're working with a group.
Actually, I am part of a team, the Mighty Networks team, to do production for their videos, and for that we use Notion, and that's the best because it's collaborative, right? Like people can work on it at the same time, people can contribute to the same thing. Notion is great for that. Spiral Lab. I'm doing weekly vlogs right now, and I'm editing one video while also filming the next one, but that's very recent. I'm not sure it's actually working long term.
Yeah, just gotta wait and see.
Yeah. Also asking my wife to remind
me. I thought you said rewind you, and I was very confused. Like, yeah, just confused.
You should have done a third video using how it works.
An anamorphic lens on a gimbal with a Rodecaster.
So do you want to talk about the outline thing?
Yeah, that was the big thing that Heather and I both discovered.
We both, yeah.
It was something we'd been kind of doing, but acknowledging it, I guess, was big.
Yeah, but it was big because we both acknowledged it.
Yeah, so what we've been doing is outlining our videos, not necessarily writing full-on scripts, but just like I do bullet points.
Yeah, bullet
points.
You
do bullet points. I will personally usually outline or script if there's something very specific, which is usually like an intro to a video because there's like wordplay or something really specific I need to mention. That will be more scripted. And then while I'm recording, I just have the Notes app. In half of my videos, if you see the computer screen, you just see the Notes app up on the computer screen, which is fine. And I just kind of look and go like, okay, this is the next line. And I don't really care if it's word for word. I just usually, unless there's like word play that needs to be word for word. But otherwise, just try to deliver that, and that has worked great. But what has been really helpful is spending more time on the outline. So like,
Yes.
if I know tomorrow I want to film a video, a thing that will be really helpful is to spend today outlining it. And just starting with a brain dump of like, okay, this is what I want the video to be about. I need to hit these points, blah, blah, blah.
Brain dump, yes.
Taking a break, coming back to it a few hours later, and then kind of now organizing it into sections. And this is all just like trying to get all the info out there, double checking things, especially if it's like, if it's a technical thing or if I'm saying a fact, I want to make sure it's all correct. And then the next day after a night's sleep, come back to it. And that's where I try to make it entertaining and like, okay, this is repetitive. I can merge these, cut this out. I start editing it and revising it. And that's where I start looking for places like, where could I do something stupid or something silly, or where, you know, what could the intro hook be, and start adding in all those like finer points. Sometimes lately I've even been spending kind of 2 days on this process. And then the next day coming back and like trying to refresh my mind on, okay, this is how I was feeling. This is like the vibe that I had and that I want to capture, and then recording with that. And that process of like outlining and coming back to it repeatedly over a day or two or more, to absolute game changer.
So mine is similar, but it's the same approach, but a different philosophy, I guess, or a different way of looking at it. So here's what I did. I wrote an outline for a video, like brain dumped, waited, came back to it, and then fleshed it out a little bit more. We need to talk about that too. Fleshed it out a little bit more to where, because this feels like a new, like a new version of me. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but a new version of me with my channel. I want to be more prepared. Yeah. So I do bullet points, but I do kind of like write it out a little bit more than I probably would. And then I try to make it the best outline that I can. Like I even go so far to like storyboard. Okay, so what is the viewer looking at? And I try to include like show this on screen and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do that sometimes too. Like cut to this shot here, intro here, just as a reminder, because it's so easy to forget. Yeah. When you're filming.
And then what I did this past time was like, I was just so convinced that I was like, this is it. There's no way to make this outline better. I should just record it now. This is the impulsiveness in me, right? The ADHD part of me that's like, I'm ready. The outline is fresh. Like, I should just do this right now. Capture it in the moment. Like, I'm feeling it. Let's go. And I was like, you know what? It was even like 11, you know, like in the morning. I totally had time. But I told myself, like, okay, if this is like, if I'm trying to do things differently, I have to do things differently. Like, I have to tell myself, calm down, sit down, okay? And, like, just wait a second. Like, wait your turn, you know? And so I slept on it. I revisited the outline the next day, and I couldn't believe how much I rearranged, edited, took things out, added new things. Like, I was convinced that that was the final version, and then when I slept on it, looked at it again with fresh eyes the next day.
You were amazed at how much
I couldn't, it was not even the same video. Like, I completely rearranged things. And that's when I went to your office and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I would have left it at that. Like, I was going to record it. Yeah. And it wouldn't have been bad, but I know
it wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah. Like, I made it better. So now the learning, you know, from that is always give, especially, like, I wouldn't do this for vlogs or whatever, right, but for videos that I plan to have long shelf life, like tutorials on my tutorial channel, I want those videos to be the best that they can be, because I know that someone can watch them for the next couple of years. I want to make them the best that they can be. So I want, you know, I'll do whatever I can to make it the best video. And I'm so glad that I waited.
Yeah, it was huge.
Like, talk about something that, like, I would never intuitively think to build into my workflow, but seeing the difference, I don't know how it works. Like, I don't know what stuff my just brain...
sits in. And I think too, when you process a thing like, okay, I've been working on this all day today, and you feel like it's done or you could get done, I think it's easy not to realize how much you're actually rushing it, or you kind of like see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I could finish it. I could be done with it. But if you pause it and then you come back to it, it's like now you have fresh perspective. You're not fatigued. You're like, hey, yeah, no, this idea here. And like you said, your brain overnight is like ideas are
resetting.
Yeah. And you're making connections that weren't there the day before. And you're like, wait, this point and this point. There's a
physiological process that happens.
Yeah,
probably
there
several,
really is.
And I don't care. I just like, I want to respect it. Like I get that it's part of it now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, cloud-based. So Google Keep is cloud-based like Google Docs, part of the messy Google Apps platform.
Right. I just think of weird icons that all look kind of the same to me.
Google Keep is like quick notes interface, anything you could bullet point or write, and you can keep a file in Google Drive. Use it for groceries, projects, ideas, movies to watch, etc. That creative girl, I just do notes, write down a quick outline, and I don't like things to be too strict because then it ends up being really boring, and if I'm bored the audience, no batch recording.
Yeah, I used to do the actual physical notebook and outline there, and then like literally I would just have it on the desk. Even in the shot while I was recording, I would just check off things. But there were too many times that I found, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, it reminded me of. There were too many times I found myself, as much as I like the physicality of the notebook, having an idea like going to bed, notebooks in the office. I'll remember it.
No. Good morning, Bailey. If you ever tell yourself,
no,
I won't forget this. Like
you'll forget it, 100%.
And then every time when I finally do remember, I'm like, I knew it. I knew I was gonna forget. Paul Duncan's in the house. Teleprompter or good bullet points? I tried a teleprompter. It was terrible. So
it was like 2 years ago.
I'm never gonna try again. It was enough. I just can't. I can't.
Yeah, I have a prompter, but I hardly ever use it. I mainly do use it if I do a lot of like consulting or video calls, and I use it as a like Zoom monitor.
So you don't use it for...
I don't use it as the actual teleprompter. Yeah. But I do know a lot of people who, instead of using the teleprompter for script, they use it to put their bullet points, or a thing that a lot of people use is Keynote. They outline or PowerPoint. They outline their script in Keynote, and then it's almost like they're doing a presentation for themselves, because they can just go forward and backward slide by slide, and that's pretty smart.
Patrick, Tom, in your video today, did you overlay that YouTube channel in post, or was that a shot of your computer screen look wacky vivid?
No, that was in post. It's the thing I stole from Raphael, of like trying to make things look semi-holographic, because I put it there, I reduced the opacity, and then I played with the perspective on it and like stretched it a bit.
Is it opacity or opacity?
I say opacity.
Opacity.
I don't know, that's what I say. That doesn't mean I'm right. That's just what I say.
I don't know what it is. But yeah, you like make it, you put the screen like here and you tilt it.
Yeah, so you basically make one end bigger and one end shorter, so it's like perspective, and it looks like a physical thing that's facing away from the camera and kind of like going over here.
Okay, so just this whole thing that we're talking about right now, if you haven't seen what Patrick's talking about, go watch Tom's video from this morning. But as soon as Tom edited this video, immediately he called me and was like, Heather, come take a look at this. And even though what Tom does is a lot of what we do, which is talking head videos, tutorial videos, talking about a thing videos, like it's not vlogs, it's not like, it's not environmental based, like, the environment around you. There's still ways to keep things exciting, try new things. And if you find yourself like, oh my God, I'm excited to show you this, like, I think that's a signal that it's, because if you didn't see my video from last week, I'm like so proud of it. I definitely was doing that multiple times as I was editing it. I was like, Tom, look at this. Like, Tom, I want to show you this, but I want you to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. That's a good feeling to have. It's a good sign when you're making a video.
All right. For outlines, I stick to bullet points only because I want myself to be as natural as I can be and not sound like I'm reading off a script. Yeah. Yes.
I think that's reading off. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to read off a script naturally.
Yeah.
You can totally do it, and the people who are really good at it, you don't know that they're reading off a script. Like what I'm saying right now is actually in a prompter right here. No.
This actually works really well with outlining for 2 weeks and then filming 2 weeks. That workflow has built in wait time.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm feeling good.
That's true.
Somebody stopped me from partially outlining like 25 videos and not one finished.
Yes, that's a problem too.
Let's see.
Oh, Andrew uses a prompter with Canva showing notes. Yeah, that's great.
I'm going to start filming Elden Ring videos. Are you a gamer? which I want more intuitive with an outline. I hear you on that. Zen. I've been playing. Well, I checked my playtime this morning on Final Fantasy 14. I hit 6 days.
Oh wow.
And 11 hours.
So
like, what's 6 times 24?
Math.
A lot.
If you watch my video today, you'll know I'm bad at math.
I use with Canva showing my notes. Oh, Matt, it's obvious Tom doesn't use a prompter with all those puns.
Some of them, I'm always proud. Today, there's one specifically that has been brought up in the comments repeatedly, and it's one I made up as I said it in the first take.
And you were so excited.
That makes me really happy when like it just like. I started the line not knowing it just happened, and then it's done, and I'm not like redoing it, and then
you delivered
it ends up being the one people like. That feels really good.
Peter Gregg, I see white on the right. Lewitt will do it.
Yes, this is the Lewitt LCT 240 Pro, and it is absolutely an awesome microphone.
Google Keep is great for quick voice notes because it'll transcribe that note. I used to do that a lot before I lived with Tom. I drove everywhere. So it took me, I was living in LA. It took at least half an hour to an hour to get everywhere. And I would just do voice memos when I had like thoughts in traffic.
I have the voice memo app on my watch because when I ride my bike a lot, that's where I come up with ideas, but I don't want to like type it out or anything. So I'll just take a break, hit the voice memo thing. And like, especially if there's something involving cadence or rhythm or wordplay, that's where I can like remember what it was supposed to be.
Aubrey says, I decided that I shouldn't read a script off teleprompter. I use it for eye to eye kind of feel. Yeah, so you can look at.
Yeah, it's hard as you get out of the zone. You look over here, read your note, and then jump back. Yeah.
Gerald Undone writes a full script. Well, he has to.
He's like the poster child for like that sort of like every word has a place, is as accurate as it needs to be.
No error.
But it's also like I think he's talked about it being in a place where, because he's established himself as credible, not that he would say he's an authority or like whatever, but you kind of trust him. He's a trustworthy source. People then are out to like find mistakes, and they're out to discredit because people suck sometimes. And so by having his script, so everything is like fact checked, correct, not mispronounced, not words flipped, it really, really helps. He was even, I remember, I always think of this when I type the Sony A7S III because he was so specific on like, it's technically written lowercase a, capital S, 7, 3 thing, or he said capital 7, and that was funny. I think of that every time I type it out. I do lowercase a, capital S, capital 7, and then 3 capital I's.
Josh is here. What's up, Josh? I love Elden Ring. It's my first video game.
Really? That's quite a game to dive into for number one.
Ever? Wait. Ever? Like RPG or ever?
You've struck a chord over here.
Yeah. Okay.
There's an energy that's like emanating.
Bye, y'all. Gotta run, pick up my daughter, slowly make my way back to YouTube. Well, we're excited for your return, Dr. Sev, and we're here for it. When you start recording, do you keep the camera rolling even if you make mistakes, or clip by clip? That is a very good
great question. That actually ties into further workflow.
I 1000% kicked Ben.
Oh, no.
That's because I don't know why he has to sleep right under here, dude. There's a couch over there.
You keep recording?
Well, because I use Ecamm, I pause.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I pause all the time. Well, not all the time. I usually break my outlines into sections. So I do the intro and then I pause. And then I'll do bullet point number 1 and then I'll pause, or do the outro. And then...
Because in Ecamm you can pause the recording and then resume it, and when you're done, it's still one file, but with like built-in jump cuts. Basically,
I do separate it. Like if my tutorial includes an outline, then I do all the talking head first in one file and then the screen share in another file. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the recording pause.
So what I have done, I used to do multiple takes, especially, I don't know if Peter TC is here, but when I was using Canon, I had to, because of the 30-minute limit. I would always butt up against it, and if I was doing a take and I was in like the 20s, I was like, I'm getting nervous. But with the Sony workflow, there's no record limit, so I can keep going. And I like to keep going because when I put at least the main talking head file, which there's usually 2, there's usually the main camera and then like the B camera. So it's 2 long files. I can then edit the whole thing at once. Like I can adjust the audio all in one thing, and I can add in, like I can adjust the color and whatever. I can do all that at once instead of having to apply something or layers to multiple clips or anything. One file. It's all one clip. So even if I like stop and need to go get something, I usually just leave the camera recording. And then when I'm editing, I get really excited because I see there's like a 90-second chunk where I'm not even in the frame.
Yeah,
like,
so you can delete.
Just cut out 90 seconds. That's awesome.
That's funny. Let's see. Elden Ring is all the rage, but I'm more of a Sims gal. Both of us were super into The Sims, but it's been a while. Yeah. Did you ever? I think the last one I played was on my phone.
I was in high school last time I played The Sims, so it was.
What?
It was when they had the Hot Date expansion pack.
I still have the box for that one in my bedroom. Not this bedroom, but my parents' house. But, let's see. I'm into The Sims racing. I have a big end setup that I'm looking at. Taking a line with the help of you both, I now have some serious camera gear for the production side.
Cool.
That's awesome. Racing car titles. Matt, I was in a Halo clan for 10 years. Did you play Halo 2?
You know what I wouldn't have guessed?
I really like that we could talk on Ventrilo. Did you play? I was so into Halo 2. It's insane. Like, I would check the Bungie boards for, like, my ranking. This is how I met James.
Like, one of your best friends to this day.
Yeah. Like, well, it was after the first class where we met. And then we went to a computer lab, and the first thing I did was check my Halo ranking. And he's like, "What is this girl checking her video game ranking or whatever?" And then we were friends ever since.
Yep. I mean, he might be in the chat right now.
But I can't play first person shooter anymore because I get motion sickness. It sucks. First world problem. I tend to record, pause, and edit what I recorded, then continue recording. Really, I could never do that.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
I was reading Peter's comment here.
I now play Mech Arena. Splatoon 2 is great fun. We haven't played it.
I have the Splatoon Switch controllers. The
colors
ones.
Are cool. I do what Heather does now, but I remember back in the day I had a 20-minute limit on my Nikon.
It gets distracting when you know there's a limit and you're like
you
keeping
feel
track
like you're counting
I have
down.
to rush and yeah.
Guess what new camera has no recording limit? Guess. Go ahead, guess.
Canon R7. Canon took away recording limits. What?
Wait,
3 years after the law expired?
What?
The R7 is a new camera that's not out yet. Peter has pre-ordered it. It's Canon's first crop sensor mirrorless camera. So it's mirrorless, but...
What was the last Canon camera that you talked about?
Like the R5.
Okay, so it was the R5, yeah. You have that one.
No, I pre-ordered it and it canceled.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I have the Canon R, which was their first mirrorless camera, but it has a 30-minute limit. I think maybe some of their newer ones like the R3 and the R5C don't. But yeah, the R7, which is cool because it's not as expensive as those cameras.
Oh, wow. They came out with a werewolf DLC?
Oh, wow. I was thinking the 360 camera would be fun for werewolf to make a 360 video. Yeah. And then you can spin around and see who's like moving cards around and stuff.
That would be real fun. Yeah.
I meant to tell you that like 2 days ago and I forgot.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not related to this, but
there's a board game called Werewolf.
And it's very fun.
It's like my favorite thing. Every time I get my friends to get together, like once every 2 years, I'm like, can we please play Werewolf? Because you have to play with at least 4 people. The more the merrier. It's like Mafia, if you guys have played that game. Anyway. Wow, I didn't read the comments. Canon R3 doesn't have a recording limit.
Matt's asking Peter how many cameras he has. Peter is so interesting to me for many reasons, but because camera-wise, he's used to be a like diehard Canon person like me. Yeah. But I would call Peter brand agnostic at this point because he really, unless I'm speaking wrong, correct me please. Seems like it's more about, okay, I'm just gonna try this camera out, see how it is, see how it is, and just go like, this is good, this is not as good. Because I know, like, in your setup now, you've got Sonys and Nikons and an Olympus, if I'm not mistaken, and a Canon on the way. And I think the main one has been, like, a Nikon for a while. And, yeah, I think that's cool because it's just sort of like you're not tied down to any kind of loyalty.
Look at this beefy boy.
Oh, I know. I wanted to show this.
Look at this thing. Oh my god!
For people who are listening to audio only, what are you talking about?
I know. Okay, let me try to do this. I'm gonna be a Tom here. Okay, This is a microphone with a cage. Is that what it's called? Shock mount.
Yay!
And I'm guessing it's a neat. It's a neat microphone. I don't know which one it is. And that's pretty much all I can say about it. But this is a beefy, heavy boy.
Well, it is actually the Neat King Bee because it's so
Oh.
big. We were having audio trouble before the show started, and I thought I might have to switch mics. So I was debating between these two today, so I grabbed this one. But this one is so heavy. But now it's just been over here, and I've just been feeling like even the shock mount is like heavy metal.
So...
And the thing is like it's so big, but it is a really good. It's a good sounding mic. I'll use this one next week.
Let's see. You are right. I have a contrast detection brain versus phase detection. I remember a live stream, and he had a vast array of cameras.
Yeah, that's the norm. Usually at least 3, if not 4 going.
So do you have any other workflow tips? I just want to make sure,
Yes.
like, if you're here for the workflow.
Yes.
Well, what's something that you've tried and it didn't work? That's a question.
Notion. Not that that's specific, but my brain doesn't work with Notion. Like, I appreciate it, and I know people love it, and, like, if Marie happens to be in here, I'm sorry. It does not work for me. Like, my brain does not. And I know it doesn't make sense, because it's like, why doesn't it work? It's just a screen with data on it. It can be
Well,
whatever
I've
you want.
said this. Everyone knows. I would say the Roadcaster. I wouldn't even know what to do with the thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really good example where it's like, it's a centerpiece of what I do.
I feel bad. So here's another thing. Tom got me, because he's very supportive of my content creating endeavors, got me a tool for my birthday one year, and I used it once and never used it again.
Which tool was that?
The Osmo Mobile.
Oh, yeah. That's right. The phone gimbal.
Yeah, it just didn't.
But that was also before phones have insane built-in stabilizers.
I know,
now, or
man.
you don't need it.
When I was like vlogging back in March, and we were at the mall shopping for New York.
Yeah, and you were using your phone.
I was using my phone, and I couldn't believe when I edited it. I was like, this is more stable than the ZV one. That's insane.
Yeah, so why put that in a gimbal?
Yeah.
That-
The reason why it didn't work in my workflow is because it was so hard to like unlock my phone because I put the screen lock on it so I can go like this. Then I have to attach it to the thing. Then I got to turn the thing on, and like the shot's gone. Like I just
Right. Yeah.
It has to be like, okay, if I like when we used it, I was on a boosted board and we knew, okay, here's the shot that we're going to have, but I don't do that. Like I'm very, in the moment. And so like for me to,
Yeah.
I just,
so if we're talking about tools and equipment that don't work, this is going to be the most
Just like
brand
workflow
unfriendly
stuff.
thing. Okay.
it doesn't have, whatever.
I mean, I have a few things. So I can talk about a positive. It's finished talking about something that did work because it's related to the outlining thing.
Okay.
So that same process for outlining I have learned over the past year or so applies to editing the video. And I think we've talked about this before, but I really can't emphasize enough. Like, having spent so much time, even if I was only releasing a video a week, I would still like produce the video in a day, usually. Like film and edit in a day, or film one day, edit the next day. And what I've been doing lately for now almost a year is like spending 3 days editing, maybe. Not because I have to, but
Just
the
letting it
same
breathe.
exact idea of like, I will do the rough outline, usually because I'm excited and I want to make sure everything worked and sounded good. And I feel better once I know the footage is here, it looks good, it sounds good. And now I'll chop it up. And then I usually get excited to do the rough cut to see, okay, I'm working with 32 minutes and I'd like to get it down to 20 minutes or something. And then going through and like, now I'm editing it, switching shots around, adding in B-roll. And then once it feels like the video's done, finishing it the next day, like coming back. And because there's no fatigue, you get so excited when you're finishing, when you're close to finishing a video, you just want it to be done. You're like, yeah, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
That then you kind of, I think there are things, whether or not you realize it, that you just sort of like cut out that don't need to be cut out. Not editing wise, but like polish wise. Because I come back the next day, I'm like, I could really fix this audio part here. I can go out and film another shot really quick to overlay here. I could add in that graphic right here. I could show a screen record. Like all these little things that I was too tired to do the day before. Now I don't have fatigue anymore, and I've thought about how they can go. Or you just notice like, wait, this part at the end of the video makes a lot more sense at the beginning, actually. Like that kind of stuff. It totally applies to the editing, totally makes the videos better. And if you have a workflow where you've been able to bank things and schedule them in advance, that pressure, because one of the things, like, the video's done, I want to upload it right now and have people see it right now, because you're working on a banked workflow,
right? It's
where
scheduled.
you know, like, this video is probably not
Gonna be out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't really matter if I take an extra day to edit it because it's not this week's video anyway.
Yeah.
And that has been, like, in terms of
Really helpful.
improving overall quality, massive.
What are you using? What mic are you recording on right now?
This is the Lewitt LCT240. It's actually really cool. It's a condenser mic, so it works with basically any interface as long as you have phantom power. I think it sounds really good. The mic itself is, I don't have a review on it, so this is my review on it. The mic itself is relatively affordable. It's like $140-ish. But then I bought, like, the shock mount that came with it, or shock mount for it, so that was like another $40. And then it has this really cool thing. I apologize if you hear this, but
Hi, JFK.
the pop filter that comes with it is metal. It's a metal mesh one, and magnetically it just goes around it and sits on the shock mount. It comes with a regular windscreen, like a foam one, but I think the white mic with, like, all metal, it's really cool looking, and I really like the way this sounds. This was, like, your runner-up when we were doing mic tests for which one you were
everyone
gonna
was
use.
all about that one.
Heather's voice on this mic was, like, the runner-up.
Andrew says, I'm going to take that suggestion to heart, Tom. Trying to get everything edited in one sitting has made me hate editing. Breaking up over multiple sessions, I hope will help.
It's crazy, the difference. You come back the next day and you're like, oh, I'm excited to do this now.
Yeah, totally. Kathy, are smartphones best for workflow while traveling? Packing for a DC trip, wondering if I should bring cameras or just rely on iPhone 13 Pro.
What I would do?
What would you do?
If I were Kathy going on a trip, so I would take a camera just because you don't know. Like, if something amazing happened, you're like, I want the best quality. It's nice to have your actual camera. But more and more, even yesterday, I had a GoPro. We went to an air museum yesterday, and, like, I knew there were some clips I wanted to get for something, but I was like, I'll just use my phone. Like, it's fine. And I have an old phone, so, like, it's not even the best camera or anything. And it would have been fine.
Yeah, if it were me, like, I would do what I did for our New York trip was my ZV-1 and here's the iPhone 13.
This was maybe 4 years ago. I was working on a project for the school where I was working, and it was like a collaborative thing that was going to be shown in a theater, like premiered in a theater. And not that was amazing high quality or whatever, like the school district just booked a theater. But point is, projected on a big screen. And we were missing one thing. It was just an establishing shot of a building, and it was like the day before the thing needed to be done. And I had my iPhone 8 at the time, and I just happened to be at that building, and I was like, oh, shoot. And I just stood there and, like, just filmed the building for 10 seconds and then threw that in as an establishing shot, and then it was projected on a big screen and looked amazing, and then cut to, like some, I don't know, $5,000 4K documentary camera after that, and nobody noticed.
Matt says, I had 10 camera and 50 mics, but I retired. I now came out of retirement. I now use up to 7 cameras, but only 25 mics. Just got a matched pair.
Oh, you know what, Matt, if you could explain this. Jared was asking me yesterday exactly what matched pair means, and I think I gave him an answer. I said that it's those two mics are specifically, like, tuned or designed to work together.
Settings.
Not just the model of mic, but, like, those two individual mics, like their frequency response, whatever their polar patterns, their phase, whatever is, like, designed to work together. I might have been wrong, though, so if you could enlighten us, that would be cool.
Well, I feel like we learned a lot about workflows.
We did.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I have a potential topic.
What is it?
Personalities. Because we've been talking a lot about self-awareness and, like, how it's really important as a content creator. And I think what we were supposed to do one time.
Oh, yeah, we're supposed to take the personality test.
Yeah, so Kat.
Like 8 months ago.
No, it's the Enneagrams?
Yes.
Is that what they're called?
Something like that.
I don't know what they're called. Enneagrams.
We can figure it out.
Kat Mulvihill is, like, super into. I think she's like a, like, I don't, like, a certified something, or, like, has, like, studied it to be able to.
She'll have to catch us up on it.
Yeah. But I think it'll be interesting. I don't know if we'll do that next week, but I'm just trying to think of other ideas.
Okay. And Matt said
I can add it to the notes.
Yes. The notes.
Tom and I have a shared couples table notes.
Kathy has ZV-1, ZV-E10, and a Ninja Nifty 50. I would take the ZV-E10. That with your phone, like, that should cover everything. Because the ZVE10 will be the one that you can like, if you want something to shine in a really special way, you could use that one. Otherwise, just stick with the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Cool. We're about to. Is it time to clear the table?
I think it might be. That was fun.
That was fun.
That was a good episode.
Yeah. It was cool to hear other things that work for people too. It's
Yeah.
nice to know that like we're not totally alone in everything.
Yeah, we're all. Yeah, exactly. See.
Wow.
All right.
Alrighty. So, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. And I hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody. See ya.